With Mozart's Prague Symphony, we find him in the fullness of his maturity as a composer. He had moved from his native Salzburg to Vienna in 1781, and the decade of the 1780s, which was unfortunately his last decade because he died in 1791, but that decade of the 1780s is often referred to as the golden decade, which it really was, because the number of masterpieces that Mozart produced during that 10-year period is simply unbelievable. In 1786, Mozart unveiled his opera, The Marriage of Figaro, in Vienna. And the Viennese liked the opera, but they were not crazy about it. It was not a huge success until it was transported to Prague. And when Marriage of Figaro opened in Prague, it was an immense triumph for Mozart. Everybody sang its tunes. He was the hero of musical Prague. And so it was that in the beginning of the following year, Mozart, his family, and an entourage took a trip to Prague. It was basically a vacation. He didn't have a lot of musical responsibilities during that trip, but one was to lead an orchestra concert. And for that concert, he came bearing a special gift for the music lovers of Prague, and it was the Symphony Number 38, which ever since has had the nickname the Prague Symphony. The Prague music lovers must have been delighted by this symphony that they heard when Mozart premiered it in Prague that winter. And it's a little different from his other symphonies. All of his other late symphonies have 4 movements, which is standard for the symphonies of that time, but not the Prague Symphony. Mozart limits himself to 3 movements, but they're very large-scale, very grand movements. And in fact, he also provides something that he doesn't provide in his other late symphonies, a beautiful, monumental introduction to the first movement, which is really one of the glorious passages in all of Mozart. Often people ask me, what's your favorite Mozart symphony? In my heart, if I answer honestly, very often the answer is my favorite Mozart symphony is the Prague Symphony. In this piece, we find an absolutely perfect balance of musical means, of adventurous chromaticism with classical balance, of monumentality with a sense of personalness that I find very winning in Mozart. It's hard not to love the Symphony Number 38. It is truly one of his greatest masterpieces.